you culinary cats and kittens, welcome to Fork in the Road. Today is a cheese-filled day. I love the Michigan cheese. I love it, in fact, so much, I'm taking you to Suttons Bay, Michigan. I'm going to introduce you to John and Ann Hoyt of the Leelanau Cheese Company, located in the gorgeous Black Star Farms, an agricultural destination. Yeah, we're going to go up there. We're going to see how they make one of America's finest cheese. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, it was considered America's #1 cheese. #1. Their aged Raclette, the best in the whole country. And then we're going back to my co-scener. We're going to the culinary compound, and we're going to take that Raclette cheese, and we're going to do something a little classic with it, and then something not so classic. You know, Uncle Lee, I can't help myself. Now, how do we do that? How do we go to Suttons Bay? How do I do these amazing recipes? How do I show you about the culinary compound in 30 minutes or less? I have no idea. Stick right here. You're going to find out. It's Fork in the Road! Think of the only state surrounded by fresh water, populated by fantastic fish and wild game, celebrated for its colossal cornucopia of culinary comestibles. A state that is home to mile after mile of vineyards. And the only state that looks like your very own hand. So welcome to my magical mitten. Welcome to the great state of Michigan. And be prepared for some of the best food and wine in America. It's all about cheese today. It's all about something specific. It's all about Raclette cheese. Voila! I got a wedge of Raclette right there. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of an interesting story, but in French, the verb racler means to scrape. So raclette means, I don't know, scraped maybe. I'm not really sure. But here's what happens. Here's what they think happened. Long time ago, some sheep herders or farmers or ranchers were out in a bubbling, roaring fire one evening, and they got hungry. And one guy apparently just pulled a hunk of cheese out of his overalls, his blue overalls, because he was French, by the way, and just set it in front of the fire, and it melted. And he took his trusty French pocket knife and just kind of scraped a little bit of it off and ate it. He liked it. So then he offered some to his buddy, scraped it off with his pocket knife, and he ate it, and he liked it. And the next night they got together, and one buddy brought some dried meat, and another buddy brought a couple boiled potatoes. And soon this dish, this raclette, this scraped cheese dish, went all through Europe, and it actually became a buffet item. And they actually make machines, and they actually have a cheese called raclette, and it's a lovely cheese, nutty and full of flavor and full of passion. But you have these special machines, and it's really fascinating. What you do is you take the cheese on this wedge, like here, and you slide it underneath this high-intensity lamp, and you just hold it for a few moments. And what happens is that high-intensity heat lamp is going to melt the top of the cheese. Check this out. It's really cool. So now you can see it. Well, I can see it, and I can smell it. Look at that beautiful bubbling cheese. And what you do, and what people would do at these parties, is they just bring their plates over, and the cheese guy, the scraper, the raclette master, would just simply scrape the melted cheese right onto the diner's plate. Look at that. Look how beautifully it melts. This cheese was engineered over the years to be beautifully melting. Now, over here, this is my Great Lakes raclette. Why? Because I want to use a lot of unusual and even local ingredients to make my raclette cheese even more localized, even more regionalized. So for example, we've got Michigan pears, we've got fennel, we've got carrots, we've got the dried meat we were talking about, we've got Michigan jerky, beautiful Michigan asparagus, pickles, pickled onions from Royal Oak, Michigan, boiled apples, cherry tomatoes. All you do is then people go through and pick what they want and just slide it onto their plate, just like that. Maybe a little spud for fun. Got to have some fennel. I love putting fruit on it as well. And then let's try a little bit of jerky. Just like that. And you have got a beautiful buffet plate, but it's a lot of fun too. But you know what regionalizes this even more? Well, what about if this traditional cheese, this raclette cheese, this European cheese, was made right here in Michigan? And what if it was regarded as America's premier cheese, the #1 cheese in the United States a couple years ago? Yeah. John and Ann Hoyt at the Black Star Creamery in Suttons Bay, Michigan, have done something that nobody has ever done before in Michigan. They're making the premier raclette cheese in the United States right here in the Magical Mitten. Let's go meet John and Ann and see how their raclette is made. We're here at this gorgeous creamery here at Black Star, and they are working, and we're going to try and get John and Ann to talk a little bit as they scurry about making what just won actually the award for the best cheese in America, their aged raclette. Ann, can you explain to us, what are you doing right now?
I am getting ready for taking the cheese out of a carton. So everything's been sanitized, and just preparing everything. For at the last minute when we take the cheese out, everything has to go very fast, and we like to be organized and ready.
But in here is milk, and?
Milk, cultures, and rennet.
Salt and rennet. And the culture, is there a specific raclette culture that you use, or that is generally used for making raclette?
There is, but we won't tell you which one. It's a secret.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, at this juncture...
But yes, you are right. There is a different culture for different types of cheese.
Can I get in there? Of course.
There is different cultures for different types of cheese, so yes.
I just tested the milk to get to the right consistency, so I feel that it's right. So now it's time to cut the curds. Cut the curd.
Cutting the curds, cutting the cheese. And at this juncture... It's curd.
We're on schedule.
You're on schedule. So now what are we doing with that big old hairnet?
We're just going to go and pull the curds out.
You pull the curd. Oh, I thought that was a tilting skillet. Oh. Looks like you're fishing for curds.
Fishing for curds, yeah. These molds, if you see, they're micro-perforated. There's thousands of tiny holes around them. So that keeps the curd in, but allows the whey to drain out. Then these screens help channel the whey on these plates to get into the grooves. So I'll put a screen in, I'll put a plate in, and then another screen. So the whey will go from this cheese into that screen, allows it to disperse, get into the plate, and then channel out the side.
I just am so shocked it holds together that quickly.
Yeah.
Wait till you see what I do with this cheese when I take it back to the kitchen. You're going to love it. Now, I showed you the classic raclette machine, and then I showed you my updated version of maybe some of the little kibbles and bits that go along with it. But what else can you do with raclette cheese? Well, you can put it